the coast that is going to keep that direction for the next couple of days. From Jose's impact on the beaches now to the devastating economic impacts of Harvey and Irma. First time on record that the U.S. had 2 Category 4 landfalls in the same season, not to mention 16 days apart. So there is going to be a huge economic impact, and we're just now starting to get a grasp of some of the numbers. I want to bring in Paul Walsh, our weather business analyst, for some perspective. Paul, it is easy to understand how big of an impact it really could be with these 2 storms. What numbers are you kind of thinking about here, and you hear the experts talking about as well?
Well, Maria, there's a lot of numbers out there. Of course, they're gross estimates at this point, but it's going to be very, very big. I've seen estimates combine both Irma and Harvey together of $200 billion or more. And to put that into perspective, J.P. Morgan put out a research paper, and they suggested that over the last 50 years, we've accumulated about $500 billion worth of hurricane losses. And you can see that no matter what that number is from Harvey and Irma, it's going to be a big percentage of that sort of 50-year loss. So it's a big, big chunk. We probably will see a pretty significant decrease in the overall economic output of the whole U.S. as measured by the GDP in Q3. I think Goldman Sachs has estimated will be down about 0.8%, which is almost 1% of our economic growth. So it's a massive, so almost inconceivable impact on the U.S. And, of course, we're not even done yet with the hurricane season.
I know there are certain businesses that have been hurt the most.
Well, you're in Florida right now in the Keys. You can imagine what this impact will be on the Florida tourism industry. Basically, their entire season is effectively lost, especially for South Florida. The insurance industry is going to be paying out a lot of money. Estimates range anywhere from $20 to $50 billion in terms of the amount of money they're going to have to pay out to help folks. Travel, and of course we're talking about the commodities you mentioned. We'll start talking about the Florida citrus. Those kind of things are going to have a pretty significant impact.
And Paul, real quick, what's the bottom line for consumers?
Well, we're going to see prices rise more than likely for things like oranges and tomatoes, because a lot of those crops are grown in Florida, and I've heard estimates that up to 50% of the orange crop in Florida has been impacted negatively, perhaps even lost. And when that happens, of course, supplies go down and then prices go up. So it's something that we're going to be feeling and seeing for many months to come.
All right, Paul Walsh, as always, an interesting perspective on 2 huge events. Thank you so much. Paul, back to you.
Thanks, Maria. And Paul Walsh, again, talking about how the weather, bottom line, it impacts us in the wallet, something that none of us can escape. Let's talk about the Northeast right now, because we're not going to escape the impacts of Hurricane Jose in this area. Right now, we're seeing temperatures in the 70s, a couple of 60s as well. And yes, like yesterday, a little ground fog around there as well.